So the question is, how do you build a pet marketplace for farmers in India? इतना broad statement है, मैंने इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं बोला है. That's the only question that I ask you. If you look in the left side diagram, the first thing that I am saying is clarify. The next is, how can you now define the product mission or goal? What are the user segmentation? What can be the potential solutions for the MVP? So यहाँ पे please start thinking on the lines that you have to think about the most easy features to implement. Now, if the interviewer says, can you make it slightly more detailed? Then you start thinking of the long-term features. After we build the solutions, we essentially come to prioritize those solutions, right? Now we have to prioritize the solution. So according to you, vaccination status, what should be the ideal impact of this? Like if you ask your heart, vaccination status as a particular feature, what would you rate it out of 10? So for everyone, it's an important feature, right? इतना तो तुमको भी समझ में आ गया, इतना हमको भी समझ में आ गया, right? Now from an engineering perspective, because I have designed the solution that I just have to upload an image, right, and verify that across. And second is just integrate Aadhaar. It is an easier thing. Even if you go to an engineering manager, all the APIs are built. So I would say that from an engineering effort perspective, it is very easy. I've given it 2 out of 10. You understood the basic premise that you start organizing whatever your solutions are in terms of impact and engineering effort. So Suraj has asked a very good question that since this is a marketplace, don't we have to look at the needs and the pain points of the sellers? We do, right? We do have to. But while I'm building it for a particular persona, it automatically ties to the other persona because it's a marketplace. That's why I have specifically mentioned easy onboarding of sellers, so that buyers can have more demand. So it essentially takes care of their pain points also, but we will have to do a deep dive analysis from that side also, right? Makes sense. Okay. Second part, delivery time and effectiveness, right? Now delivery time के लिए आपको warehouse तो लेना ही है. You have to take a warehouse, right? Whatever it is, but you build a hyperlocal model, right? And now delivery times से बहुत ज़्यादा important है कि I know the health of the person. If I don't know the health of the person, then what's the point of showing delivery times and effectiveness and whatever and whatnot? So I am giving it 6 out of 10, right? Because the first feature is ideally the backbone of the second feature. And from an engineering perspective, it's hard because you have to set up a delivery ecosystem. You have to build features around it, but you can't do anything about it. You have to build it, right? If you want to build a marketplace, right? Make sense? So, acha. Third is easy profile onboarding for sellers. It has a large impact because if a seller is easily able to create their profile, showcase what pets they have sold, what are the pets that they have, what is the quality of the pets there is, right? So this is going to be like a profile page, but it will have a very large impact because the buyers who are coming there they will be easily be able to make good choices based on the kind of profile there is. So it has a very high effectiveness. But from an engineering standpoint, it will take time. Anirudh will confirm because you have to build multiple modules. You have to ensure the fulfillment of those modules. You have to ensure that the people have the information to these modules. You have to ensure whether they understand the communication of the module and all of those things, right? Then the next part is credit option availability, right? It is easy, right? According to me, because we are already with Jandhan. That's already built across, right? Even from an engineering effort perspective, it will be like 3%, 3 out of 10 from an effort perspective, because it's just integration of an API, right? To essentially build that kind of a structure. And the last thing is the community effort, right? That can we build a community around it? If I just do a WhatsApp integration with the community, so already it has a large impact, and simultaneously it has some kind of very, very little engineering impact, right? From an engineering standpoint and effort impact, because it's just integration of WhatsApp. Make sense? Yahan tak sabko clarity hai, right? Now you know essentially अब तुम्हें prioritize किसको करना है. So you essentially know that vaccination status has to be prioritized, easy profile creation has to be prioritized, community effort has to be prioritized, then probably delivery times have to be prioritized, and then credit option availability has to be prioritized. We came to a point where we understood कि MVP में ये 4-5 चीजें चाहिए. Make sense? The last part is that what should be my core KPIs to measure the success of this marketplace. I have written number of transactions that happen which initiate. What I mean by initiate, not every transaction actually converts because there can be returns. So I want to see how many transactions actually initiated in my system. Second, how many transactions actually got completed, which tells me the effectiveness of the purchase cycle. Third, number of profile creations that happened from an onboarding perspective to the number of profiles which actually got completed per week, right? Then what is my average order value? Which SKUs are actually getting served? And last, how many verified animals are there on the platform in comparison to the total animals? So if you essentially reach to this point, this is where you kind of end up building. So हमने क्या build किया अभी तक? Let's go back again from the. We said we want to build a pet marketplace, right, for India. हमने उसको basically break down किया. We clarified what does it mean. We defined the product goal and mission. We did a user segmentation. We selected the most possible and most idealistic user which can add value. We understood their user need and pain points. We came up with solutions. We prioritized those solutions and we looked at the core KPIs. And यहाँ पे हमारी product sense problem खत्म हो जाती है. Product sense problem में क्या होता है? It's an ambiguous statement that you have to make into an MVP. That this is what I'll build. Product execution is reverse. Essentially says that you already are working on a product and there is some difference that you've seen in the metrics. And how do you debug the upward lift or the downward lift in the metrics, right? So I just want to put across, Ankit has asked this question, Bhaiya, won't we consider returns in KPI? We will, right? I have not mentioned. So don't take my answer like a blanket answer ki yahi sahi hai. Maybe not. Maybe I have missed some very cool solution around it, right? I don't know, right? But I just wanted to give you a structure around it, right? RCA basically hota hai, RCA is called as root cause analysis. Ki basically I am a product manager somewhere and I saw there is a drop in a particular metric somewhere, right? I need to debug why that drop or why that lift is. That is typically called a product execution question. Make sense? यहां तक बात क्लियर है. अब इस क्वेश्चन को मैं पढ़ता हूं तुम्हारे लिए. द क्वेश्चन इज, यू आर ए पीएम फॉर लिंक्डइन क्रिएटर सर्विसेज and you have seen a dip of 10% in creator follower growth. How would you go about this? ठीक है, तो question again, you are a PM for LinkedIn creator services, right? And you have seen a dip of 10% in creator follower growth, right? How would you go about it? First question जो हमने पहले ही किया था, clarify. ठीक है, what do you mean by 10% dip? ठीक है, guys, tell me, what do you mean by 10% dip? What is follower growth? Does it mean the number of followers added by creators on the platform by clicking the follow button by the people? And clarifying question 2, what is the time period of comparison? Is it 10% week on week? Is it 10% day on day? Is it 10% month on month? And I essentially let's choose week on week for the part of simplification. LinkedIn creator services. Like what I mean by LinkedIn creator services is like you are a PM who wants to essentially help creators grow their brand, right? Is it globally? Yes, that can also be a clarifying question. यहाँ तक हमने clarify कर लिया. अब अगर और we chose that okay, the first clarifying question was that number of people who click on follow, they essentially, that is what you define as follower growth. Second clarifying question was I am comparing 10% week on week, day on day, month on month, and that is essentially what I'm trying to put across. Yeah, gathering context. We will ask these kind of questions. Is the decline progressive or a one-time event, right? Is it happening across weeks? That's what you will tell the interviewer. Or it's happening just once, right? So the interviewer will say, oh, no, it's progressive. It's happening across 7 weeks, right? Because the decline is progressive, ruling out technical glitches or downtime. Because अगर 7 हफ्ते से ये हो रहा है, तो यार technically तो fix ही हो जाना चाहिए था ना, if it's a bug, right? So I removed the first possibility outside that it's not due to a bug. यहां तक बात क्लियर है? Is the decline global or regional? Samruddhi, it is absolutely according to you, because the decline is global, ruling out any regional influencing factors, no change in preference of any region, no competing product, no regulatory constraint, right? Is there a decline on a specific platform, right? So then we essentially say, is it happening on web? Is it happening on mobile? Is it happening on everywhere? So the interviewer will tell you, no, it's actually happening on mobile, right? And it is across iOS and mobile. So the person will tell you ki haan yaar, ye ho raha hai, right? Then is there a decline in any other feature because of this? So then the interviewer will say, no, there is no decline, but there is no correlation with any other feature. Last, Is there a prominent user segment where you see this decline? If the interviewer tells you, well and good. If you don't, then you make a logical guess कि okay, majority of the population working on LinkedIn is between 19 to 35 years. There are people above that also, but majority of the people who essentially want for jobs and stuff like that, I would choose that sentiment only. So I have chosen 19 to 24 for all aspiring PMs or etc., whatever I need to think about. This context has to be communicated, right? This shows your ability to think on the top. ये बहुत important है. This essentially shows that you are thinking from all directions. So the interviewer will be impressed कि wow, from a text perspective, from all perspectives, the person is asking a question. Now I know everything. अब मुझे ये पता चल गया from a context perspective कि it's not a one-time event, it's not due to a bug, it's not to some other issue. So I will reframe the problem statement. I would say there is a progressive decline in follow sent on mobile platforms globally with no correlation with a product usage metric among the 19 to 24 user segment. अब मैंने प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को ही रिफ्रेम कर लिया क्योंकि मैंने ये सारे कॉन्टेक्स्ट गैदर कर लिया अपने इंटरव्यूअर से. I asked for this context from my interviewer and he essentially gave me this context, right? So I essentially said there is a progressive decline in the follow sent on mobile platforms globally and there is no correlation with any other product usage metric among the 19 to 24 user segment. Then you essentially now build a hypothesis. Okay, one of the sources, maybe the first is one of the sources for adding new features is broken. The follow button is working, but probably the way that you follow people, the discovery points, wohi broken hai. Ki people you may follow, people you may know, it's not working. That's one. Second, people are not able to see new content, hence not following new creators. ये second hypothesis है. Second hypothesis है. अभी मैंने deep down नहीं किया इस hypothesis को. मैंने बोला ये reason हो सकता है कि creators content ही नहीं बना रहे तो follow क्यों करेंगे लोग उनको, right? That's second. Third is there is a creator activity drop due to an external reason कि creator छोड़ के ही चले गए platform से, right? Fourth, कि can I also build a feature through which creators can be discovered in different content formats? कि the current content format is not working, can I build some other content format, right? Like LinkedIn launched polls, LinkedIn launched images, videos, ABCD, whatever it is, right? तो मैंने ये 4 hypothesis बना लिए based on the current problem statement. यहां तक बात clear है? I will break down each hypothesis and trying to solve it, right? So the first hypothesis is people are not able to find new way to follow. There can be reasons. The sources of finding and adding a new follower is broken. Like people you may want to follow on profile. Has there been a change in algorithm friends to or ordering the people you may know? Need to investigate. So I will tell my interviewer कि if this is the reason, I need to investigate it. Very good. Second, is there a lower and infrequent placement of this particular वो जो tile आती है ना, people you want to follow, क्या उसकी placement में कुछ problem हो गई है UI UX के point of view से, right? Third, is the follow button actually broken on mobile, which has not been detected, but it's an unlikely cause. We already discussed that कि अगर ऐसा होता तो पता ही चल जाता, right? So that is the first hypothesis को मैंने debug किया, ठीक है? Second, decline in new content. I will investigate post per creator weekly and try to see a correlation कि क्या number of posts per creator has gone down. If yes, then I need to investigate more. If the post per creators have not declined, that would test that the reach declined due to some algorithmic change. Seems unlikely since the change is gradual and not a dip. Because if there is an algorithmic change, right, the reach will automatically go down bonkers. जैसे recently back, Rishabh would agree, LinkedIn made a change. जब भी मैं अपनी post डाल रहा था, my average reach of a post is 60, 70, 80,000 impressions, sometimes more than 100,000 impressions. मेरी post में क्या होने लगा? अचानक से the reach went down to 2,000 impressions, 3,000 impressions. Then I saw on LinkedIn, lot of creators were posting across it. So it cannot be an algorithmic change. ये clarity आ गई क्योंकि हमने पहले ही बोल दिया it's a progressive decline. Third, has there been an exit of creators on the platform, maybe due to some policy changes or due to the fact that other platforms offer better services such as monetization? Yes, that might be a strategic. Then if that is happening, then it's a strategic discovery thing that we need to solve for. If no, then it is an unlikely cause and you go back to point 2. Has there been a decline in content? Stick to that cause and say that if it's a strategic decision that people are leaving the platform, then there is a problem. right? But that's a bigger deep dive, and that's not something that you will do in the first go. You will try to find the most easy things and rule them out. कि ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है? And you stick to that cause. Finally, for better reach, enable features like shorts, which are easier to engage and lead to high engagement and more motivation for the creator to post. So in short, either a UI issue in any of the discovery columns is an issue, or some discovery or reach issue with the creators has led to the drop, because algorithmic issue seems unlikely. So I need to build some other feature. The next step is to investigate and fix it. So यहां तक सबको मेरी बात समझ में आई, and this is where I kind of solve this problem, right? So this was the product execution problem, right? Guys, any questions that you have, feel free to ask. But मजा आया तो बताओ, बहुत मजा आया, और मेरे को लाइक सारे चाहिए भाई, कम से कम वही दे दो, पैसे तो दे नहीं रहे हो, लाइक ही दे दो. This is the typical approach for you guys to essentially become better product managers in interviews. Product sense और product execution questions को अभी हमने randomly solve किया है, right? बहुत randomly हमने solve किया है. But primarily what I want is ये चार चीजें: product sense, product execution, business modeling and design thinking. ये चार चीजें तुम्हें fundamentally सीखनी है. मजा आया? Thank you very much once again. Take care guys. ठीक है? I want your comments in the YouTube video also, कि what you want me to improve and stuff like that. Please put it across. Chalo, bye guys.